Today we're going to talk about how the metagame is evolving in the lead up to the World Championships. Now, as most of you already know, the World Championships is a little over a month away. So far, the core dominating the meta is the Urshifu Power Knight paired up with Torn, Amoonguss, and Fluttermane. Now, because of this, the mirror matchups tend to be a little more volatile, and people are relying on basically winning the prediction war. You know, are you going to Terra the D-Knight? Are you going to Terra the Chien-Pao? You know, are you going to E-Speed into the Terra Ghost? Are you going to go Terra normal D-Knight yourself? You know, is Fluttermane, leading with Amoonguss? There's a lot of different mind games going into it. And because of that, rather than try to go, into the mirror one-on-one, a lot of people are now starting to try to counter it. Now, a really important thing to keep in mind as well leading into this World Championships is this is a very unique world. This is the first time ever where we have had a format not have any major tournaments in the lead up to the event. Normally we've always got, 3+ months where, there's a couple regionals and whatnot. This time we don't. We had about 6 weeks to prepare after NAIC. Now, one good thing we do have though is this coming weekend, we do have the Victory Road 2-day tour. This is basically where a lot of people are going to be going in and preparing. And the following week, Nino is also doing another 2-day tour. And basically these are going to be the two main events where people are really going to see what's popular. And it's going to be very good, for us to basically see what's working in Regulation D and kind of predict what we're going to see at Worlds, because after the Nino Tour, we have about 2 weeks until the World Championships, and at that point, I think a lot of people are going to want to have their teams locked in and really preparing. So what I want to talk about here is what is really good into these Urshifu Power Knights. Now, a really important thing to think about when it comes to the Urshifu Power Knights, right, is what beats, for example, Dragonite Chien-Pao. Dragonite Chien-Pao right now is probably the most annoying lead to lead into. If you do not have a Ghost type, or if you do not have a way to live that E-Speed plus potential Sucker Punch Ice Spinner, you're in a lot of trouble. That core is just going to sweep through you. So what I really want to do here is kind of touch on the Pokemon right now that are rising up because of their ability to take it on, right? And the first Pokemon I want to talk about here is Hisuian Arcanine. Now, this Pokemon is really good because basically what happens is you can eat the E-Speeds easy, right? You resist it. You've also got the Intimidate, which, lowers the attack of the Chien-Pao, which is really good. And also, a Sacred Sword into is only doing about 50%. So Hisuian Arcanine can easily survive, E-Speed plus Sacred Sword, and then fire off, potentially like people are running Rock Slide. Flare Blitz is another great option as well. One that I personally have actually been testing myself, which I do actually think is kind of cool, is the Rock Blast. So what Rock Blast allows you to do in this matchup is you go loaded dice, and something as simple as this, just a 36 Adamant, actually is a one-shot into Chien-Pao and into the Chien-Pao. D-Knight, obviously, if it terrors, will survive it, but I think you actually get pretty damn close as well if you hit all 5 of these. Obviously, you can run more attack as well. But yeah, so I think this, Arcanine right now is a mon that's really good into it. There's a lot of other sets you can run as well. Like, you don't necessarily need the loaded dice. I've seen people going, like Terra Grass, which is really good. And yeah, this one is just, it's just fantastic. It has a lot of things, it has like Willow, it has E-Speed, right? It's basically like normal Arcanine, but with a resistance to the normal typing. I believe it also gets Howl. Yeah, it also gets Howl as well. So this one does have a lot of utility, and I definitely think we will see it rise up just because of its ability to take on the Urshifu Power Knight. Well, I guess Dragonite, Dragapao. It can't take on Urshifu Power Knight. Another really interesting one as well that I think is really picking up because of it is actually Grimmsnarl. Now, Screens is also fantastic because, again, it doesn't matter what you're really leading. If it's the Fluttermane, you can set up Light Screen. If it's, Urshifu Power Knight, you can easily tank an E-Speed with the right EVs, and then you can just fire off, a Reflect, and then all of a sudden your partner is just living the Ice Spin and picking up potential KOs. It's fantastic. But I do think this mod is really underrated. It obviously pairs up really well with Hisuian Gudra, which is like another, really prominent counter to the Urshifu Power Knight. I think it's a lot of people's go-tos right now, especially, the Water or Fairy variants are really good. But yeah, I do think like Grimmsnarl and Screens in particular is really good. And my favorite pairing right now with Grimmsnarl is actually Annihilape. This is another one that I think is absolutely fantastic into the meta right now. And the reason for that is, if you think about it, Landorus T is on the rise, the Arcanines are both getting played, there's a lot of Intimidate running around, and because of that, Defiant is just a fantastic ability. It's really damn good. And on top of that, Annihilape being a fire and a ghost type means it resists the Ice Spinner. Sucker Punch is neutral, but it also is immune to the Sacred Sword, which is really good. Basically, Annihilape can't touch this Pokemon, especially with Terra Water, which is the Terra everyone tends to be running right now. On top of that, you can't be E-Speeded. Like, yeah, sure, you can be Aerial Aced, but like, with, a Light Screen up, plus this mon's just insane defense. Because a lot of people are just, I think it's like, a lot of people are running like 36 Adamant, and then they're just, oh, sorry, is it 30? Oh, no, it is 36 Adamant. This is just wrong. Yeah, everyone's running like 36 Adamant and then just like dumping it into like the bulk, right? I don't know exactly off the top of my head. It's something like this, I want to say. And that was like, it's like 108, I think we go to. Something like this is what a lot of people tend to be running right now. I think that's the common set. But yeah, this one, like, it's really good into the Dragonite and the Qianpao. And then on top of that, with the Terra Water, it does allow you just to eat up those what's it called? Surging Strikes. Obviously, you know, you're immune to close combat, so you have to Surging Strike. And with Terra Water, you can eat it, you know, get a bulk up, and then just start Drain Punching, Rage Fisting, all that good stuff. And a lot of people are starting to find some, you know, other ways as well, really, to pop Annihilate. I did see Cybertron the other day did a video with Bullet Seed on Hisuian Electrode, which is really cool, guaranteeing at least 4 of them when you pair it with Choice Scarf. And then obviously, because Electrode's so damn quick, you could really just start firing off massive, you know, Rage Fist. So this one is really, really slept on right now. Actually, I don't even know if I want to say it's slept on. I think people are starting to realize, like, hey, this is really damn good. Obviously, too, it has the ability just to always, like, one-shot Flutter Mains, especially if they attack you. Like, if you lead this into Flutter Main, Terra Rage Fist it, you're just going to KO it. Like, it's really good for that. Another Pokemon that's fantastic and definitely on the rise. And I guess, you know, being that Annihilape is also, actually, you know what? I should probably, like, fill out these sets before we continue, yeah? I personally played mine quite bulky, but you can, like, run this however you want. I think I did something like this. Is this what I ran? I think I ran something like that, yeah? Yeah, something like that looks good. I think that's roughly what I ran, somewhere in that ballpark. You could probably run a bit more speed on that. But I think Terra Grass is your best Terra. The reason Terra Grass is your best Terra is your ground and water weaknesses. They're both 4x, so if you go Grass, you now resist both of them. This guy's pretty simple. You just go Light Clay. Sorry, I probably should have done this when I was actually talking about them before, but I kind of got distracted. Terra, I know a lot of people are going Terra Ghost. I'm personally a huge fan of Terra Fire, because I think in certain matchups, it allows you just to stay on the board for ages. But then you just go like Light Screen as Reflect, Parting Shot. You don't have to go Parting Shot. I love Parting Shot because I tend to pair it with Amoonguss and Lando, so the ability to cycle around is fantastic. I think Spirit Break is like always your best, you know, main stab, but there's a lot of things you can go in this slot as well. There's things like Thunder Wave, which are really good. You've also got Fake Out, which is like really solid. Yeah, I think you can also go like Scary Face too. I also would not be surprised if we do start seeing Fake Tears on this Pokemon as well. I think pairing this up with like a Speed Booster Flutter Mane with Fake Tears is actually really good. Very, very underrated, especially if you are that Speed Booster. But yeah, you know, that's your classic Grimmsnarl there. This one, you know, tends to be like lefties or citrus. I personally love Safety Goggles because I feel like the stocks are up on the old Amoonguss right now. And then this is just simple. It's just like, it's the set that's just been good for ages. What am I doing here? Bulk up. Oh, god damn, it's gone. And then Protect, yeah. So that's that one. Yeah, really good mon. But the next one I want to talk about here is Iron Hands. Iron Hands is another absolutely fantastic mon in my opinion. Look, the AV set is nice. Obviously, the ability to take on, you know, the Fluttermanes, the fishes and whatnot, it's really good. It allows you to obviously take on the genies better as well. But I actually right now am a huge fan of the Swords Dance set. Now, I do feel like this mon kind of lacks a little bit of damage right now, and I think that is why the SD set is so good. And in terms of items, it really depends on your team, right? If you want to go like, say, Terra Grass Citrus, you can. I personally do like Safety Goggles again, just because I don't want to, you know, deal with the Amoonguss. But Leftovers is another like really, really good item on this one as well. In terms of the Terra, it all comes down to what your item is and what you're scared of. You know, Terra Fire is okay. Terra Water is also really good. Terra Grass is really good. Basically, having the Grass or the Water allows you to take on the Urshifu. Like, you basically just hard wall that mon, and then you can just like set up in its face and then just start taking KOs. I do tend to like Terra Water, but I also like running Safety Goggles, so like something like that can be really good. And then in terms of the attacks, it's just Thunder Punch. The reason you go Thunder Punch over Wild Charge is you want just as much HP as you can. You don't want to like really throw away your HP, especially when you're running something like Swords Dance. You can just go Detect. That's Decorate. My god, I'm so bad at that, man. Just yeah. And then in terms of the EVs, I'm a pretty simple guy. I like to just like run to my bump. You run this up to this, and you do this. Basically, the whole purpose of doing like this, like HP plus special defense investment is basically so you got 240 HP, 120 special defense. It is just efficient just to have your special defense be exactly half of your HP. Any more than that, and it starts being diminishing returns, basically, for those who didn't know. And then at this point, it depends how much speed you want. You can run, you know, 2 points, you can run 1 point. I like to be a little bit faster just in case, especially for mirror matchups and we're adamant. But yeah, this one, especially behind screens, it's really good. Next to Amoonguss, it's really good. It's also just really good on like leads because, like, again, you look at this HP and defense stat. It can take on the Urshi Power Knight. It doesn't care about, you know, any of their main attacks, really. The only thing that they can hit it with super effectively on lead is the Stomping Tantrum from D-Knight. But, like, if a D-Knight locks itself into Stomping Tantrum with Choice Band, like, you're fine. You really don't care. Another mon, and again, this mon is, like, another one that's just, like, fantastic behind the screens. Like, this is I really do think screens is going to pick up. Like, as I said at the start, I think Hisuian Arcanine is amazing behind screens, but Gastrodon is another mon that is just like, dude, this mon is like so damn good behind screens. It's actually insane. In terms of the item, again, you can run like a lot of different things on this mon. I like Citrus Berry. I'm sure, you know, you could run, again, there's a lot of things you could run on it. You could probably run lefties if you wanted. That's a Sugar Berry, Scott. God damn it. Citrus Berry. But I guess the main reason this mon is so damn good, for those who don't know, is Storm Drain. Why is Storm Drain so good? Because the second most picked mon in the format right now is Urshifu. And he's actually only 0.05% behind Fluttermane, which is kind of wild. They are neck and neck for number one. So having this mon here with something like Terra Fairy, I know people have like been discussing the different terras on this. People say Fire and whatnot. I think Fairy's the best because Fairy just allows you to straight up hard wall both Urshifus. Because in my opinion, I won't put it on this list because I think it is still a mon that sees a lot of play. But I do think the Dark Urshifu will pick up a lot, especially like coming into Worlds. Like I don't think we'll see it played over the next 2 weekends. But at Worlds, I think we'll see it pick up a lot because what you'll notice is a lot of people will be running things like Terra Water and Moongus, you know. I also think Terra Water on the Fluttermane is something that's going to spike a lot. Like, I think a lot of people are going to like start noticing that spikes up because one, then you don't have to like defense EV for the Ice Spinner, and two, you can also just take the Surging Strikes, which is going to be really important because I think the Urshifus are going to want to run probably Choice Scarf. I think coming into Worlds, you're probably going to see Scarf be very popular. I think Mystic Water will probably drop off because I think Safety Goggles is another move that another item that's going to pick up a lot. And I also think AV has a lot of potential. I would not be surprised if we see some AVs on it coming into Worlds. But in terms of what this mon does, I think Yawn is definitely one of the better moves on this Pokemon, just because if you can just start firing off Yawns, it really slows down these HO teams' like ability to put pressure on you, right? Like a hyper offensive team wants to start taking KOs as quick as possible, and when you just start spreading the Yawns, it really like slows them down, right? It's like, well, do I want to go to sleep or do I want to swap? And then they swap, but then you Yawn the other mon, and then they're kind of just like swapping around every turn. And that's why I think lefties can be good too. Also Recover is like really good because of that. And then in terms of your stab move, Muddy Water is like obviously fantastic. Earth Power is like another really good move. I think Earth Power right now is actually super underrated. Like I think it hits a lot of mons really well. Obviously, it's not the greatest into the genies, which are kind of everywhere. You know, Torn, Thundy, Lando, like they're all kind of running around. But especially like the Hisuian Gujas of the world, the Heatrans of the world, like these mons really don't want to eat that. On top of that as well, even if you want to go something more offensive, this mon has Ice Beam. Although I do think Icy Wind is also another really good move on this mon. Obviously, it loves Protect as well. A lot, especially if you're going something like lefties, you want Protect. But this mon is just, it has so much utility, man. And then like, if you look at its stats, again, this mon has so much HP that you can really start investing into its defensive stats. I personally, back in the day, did love running a lot of special attack on this mon. Even if you just like run something like this, and then you just start like running these up, right? Like say you get that to like 200, and then can you get this to 100? Yeah, you can get that to 100, yeah, pretty easily. Like, yeah, and then you like start running it up more, right? You get it today, you can get this to like 105. Yeah, you can get that to 105. You can get this to 105. Yeah, easy. Put like 1 point in speed, because why not? And then you go like 12. Let's go up to like 14 even. Yeah. Yeah. And we'll just like dump the rest into HP. May as well, rather than just keep creeping it all. But yeah, like this one, it has a lot of different spreads it can run, and it's, well, look, its defense stat kind of sucks, but when you pair it with like Intimidate Plus, it's like absurdly, absurdly huge HP stat. Like this one, it's just, it has a really good matchup into a lot of Pokemon right now, especially with its stabs. Like water ground coverage it's so good, and it has access to Icy Wind. Like, man, this one is an absolute sleeper right now. And then I guess lastly, just to round this out, like there are 2 Pokemon I kind of want to put in this slot. An honorable mention is Roaring Moon. I do think this mon actually is going to get better. I think its ability to play with terrain, with redirection is really good. Another honorable mention as well is the mon I've been kind of talking a bit about a lot lately, and that's Indeedee. But I've spoken enough about that on the channel, so we'll kind of leave that there. But the last mon, now this is not a sleeper, but I do think it's a really good anti-meta mon, and that's Gholdengo. Basically, Gholdengo plus a Moongus is a really good lead, because basically what that means is you're never going to be able to Sucker Punch the Gholdengo. It does not care about your E-speeds, right? So you're kind of looking at like, all right, now I've got to, throw off an Ice Spinner into the Amoonguss or the Indeedee, whatever's next to it. And then there's just those mind games, right? Because it's like, you're never clicking Sucker Punch if you're a Chienpao into this, right? You're never clicking E-speed into it. And then people are either running Terra Steel or Terra Water right now. Now, Terra Water is fantastic. Obviously, it allows you to, basically just eat like any fire moves and whatnot. It covers up a lot of weaknesses, just a fantastic defensive typing. Terra Steel is another, obviously just absurdly good it's just absurdly good on this one, right? When you pair this up with choice specs and make it rain, it just does like, it does absurd damage. Like you just look at this, it's crazy, man. Like, and again, you can put this in situations where you just let it click buttons, right? Again, you put it next to an Amoonguss, you put it next to a Mouse Hold, and you just start firing off Make It Rain, Shadow Balls. Like, a lot of Flutter mains right now, and this is what I kind of hinted at before with Flutter main as well, is a lot of Flutter mains right now are running like Terra Fairy, right? And what does Flutter main want to do on lead? It wants to click Dazzling Gleam and break a hole through your team, right? Some of them will cheese you, they'll click, you know, Trick Room, whatever. But Gholdengo doesn't care. You just sit him next to an Amoonguss, and it's like, all right, I dare you to double my Rocky Helmet Amoonguss. If you double it, I'm just going to Make It Rain. And again, if you're a Chen Power, right, you can't eat Make It Rain plus Rocky Helmet. You know, D-Knight does not want to eat Rocky Helmet plus, you know, Make It Rain. Like, dude, like, Gholdengo, again, it's not a sleeper pick. Everyone knows this mon's good, but I think it's so damn anti-meta right now. It's absolutely insane. To round it out, obviously, you know, if you're going choice specs, it's normally something like T-Bolt plus Trick. Trick is another really good move on this one as well, because basically a lot of people right now are running Amoonguss, right? Amoonguss is just, like, it honestly feels like Amoonguss right now is the best it's been in all of Scarlet and Violet, and, you know, it's been one of the best Pokemon in all of Scarlet and Violet as is. And then on top of that, you know, these Hisuian Gudras of the world that are trying to just, you know, click, you know, acid armor on your team, right? It's just like, oh, trick, you know, trick it, bang. You're locked into, you know, you're locked into your acid armor, or you're never going to be able to, you know, boost up your specialty, your defensive stat to allow you to click body presses. It's like, all right, now you got a heavy slam, you got a body press without any buffs. Feels kind of sad. Cresselia as well. Basically, all Cresselia wants to do is set up Trick Room for Ursaluna and just spam Lunar Blessing. But yeah, look, in terms of EVs on this mon, though, it comes down to what you want. This one has a lot of different sets it can run. Like, look, I like maximizing for damage, so something like this is okay, but I do feel like coming into Worlds, people are going to definitely look to probably, like, calc for stuff in particular. Like, I feel like early Gholdengo was, like, running those really odd calcs where it was just, like, super bulky, you know, not much special attack, but they were running nasty plot, and while I think plot is still pretty decent right now, I do think you really want to just threaten teams turn one with, you know, like a Terra Steel choice specs. I've also seen people running this thing with Berserker. Like, Berserker has Fake Out, and then you just go Terra Steel, Make It Rain with choice specs. And, dude, like, I think my Landorus took, like, 60% from a -2 Gholdengo next to a Berserker. It was actually insane. Like, it was -2 and literally, like, almost one-shot my, my especially defensive Lando. But, yeah, anyway, guys, look, that's it. That's kind of all I wanted to talk about today. These are just some of the ones I think that are going to be really good into the meta. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down below. Like, obviously, the meta is always evolving, right? People are constantly adapting, and I think a lot of people started to realize, like, hey, Urshi Power Knight, you know, plus Flutter Torn and Amoonguss is, like, really, really damn good. But, like, you don't want to play into the mirror. That mirror is, like, one of the worst mirrors ever, because it feels like it's not even necessarily skill-based, right? Like, obviously, you can put yourself into positions to win always and, you know, figure out your lines into it, but, you know, in a best of 3, if your opponent sees that your specific line is, like, you know, Terra Normaling and just, like, letting your Focus Sash Chien-Power sit there, then it's just like, well, shit, I'm just going to Sacred Sword it next turn or something, right? And just, you know, double the D-Knight. But, yeah, look, there's so many mind games going into it. Yeah, I could ramble on about it all day. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for this one. Yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.